Let's talk about Border Patrol apprehensions between ports of entry at the southwest border of terrorists.
And I have to say, it is pretty rich hearing the gentleman from Georgia express her concern about terrorism when she literally was selling defund the FBI t-shirts and hats on her website for $30 a piece. $30 for the shirts and another $30 for the hats. You don't get both for just the $30. The leading law enforcement agency tasked with combating terrorism in this country and keeping people safe, and she wants to defund it. So I am not going to take any lectures from her on securing this homeland from terror.
Yes, let's talk about the porch of entry, where people are coming into this country. And we need law enforcement to stop it. We need the FBI. We also need to defund the FBI. I was told that's one of the Republican Party's platforms, and I'm a Republican, they say. I'm Marjorie Taylor Greene. I followed orders and talking points, and I defund the FBI and give them no ability to help fight terrorism that I decry publicly. But obviously I know deeply about what the FBI is and who runs it and what they do, which you can see in this clip.
Were you aware of this?
Congresswoman, as I said, I haven't seen the photos that you're holding up before.
Maybe, well, I posted them on my Twitter account. It's public. You know, maybe
I don't
you guys
spend a lot of time on Twitter.
Well, you know, oh, I'm sure you do, because the Department of Homeland Security, organized with other offices, has censored many Americans, including myself.
I'm not part of the Department of Homeland Security.
The FBI clearly is part of the Department of Homeland Security, except they're different. They're different departments and organizations. They're not at all the same. But that's Christopher Wray, the head of the Department of Homeland Security. What? The head of the FBI for a long time and still is? Okay, but did you see my Twitter feed?
Well, I posted them on my Twitter account. It's public.
Man in FBI who's now funded less and so needs to spend more time working and less time on Twitter. My point's making less and less sense. I'm majorly tainted Grinch. But it's not just her, it's the entire Republican Party talking out of both sides of their mouth. Here's Speaker of the House Mike Johnson talking about how terrible it is that Democrats want to defund the police.
We have the receipt, y'all.
And while I do agree the police can't be defunded majorly, we can put funds into things that can help communities better and can deal with different kinds of calls. We do need, however, to have police funding. But he criticizes it very hardcore in this clip. Take a look.
Representative Ocasio-Cortez said after they cut $1 billion from New York's police department, she said, quote, that didn't go far enough. Defunding police means defunding police. Representative Jones, Mondaire Jones, said that a suite of criminal justice reforms to redress racial inequalities and harms in our justice system, including defunding police, reinvesting this money, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes on and on. Representative Omar, oh boy, she was all over this issue. She said we need to completely dismantle the Minneapolis Police Department, completely. Because here's the thing, there's a cancer. The Minneapolis Police Department is rotten to the root, and so when we dismantle it, we get rid of that cancer. Representative Presley, Ayanna Presley, said the defund movement isn't new. Folks are just finally listening. We got monies for war, but we can't feed the poor. Tlaib, I'll end with this. She said, when we say hashtag defund the police, what we mean is people are dying and we need to invest in people's livelihoods instead. Listen, we have the receipts, y'all. Don't try to bring this argument in here again. I got a lot more, but I'm out of time.
But then, if law enforcement is so important to never cut funds to, then why is he saying this stuff?
We also advanced, as you've seen the summary, cuts to some of the agencies that we believe are really overreaching and have been turned in some ways against the American people. We're going to cut 3% from DOJ, 7% from the ATF, 6% from the FBI, and 10% from the EPA, and that's just a start. We have a lot more priorities and things that we need to advance, but the reality is, as we all recognize, is that we have to grow the House majority, take back the Senate for the Republican Party, and win the White House. And I'm here to tell you the reason we're optimistic is we believe those things are going to happen in November. We can't wait. That day can't get here soon enough.
Oh, wow, you're cutting all those departments that do law enforcement stuff. That's crazy. It almost seems like the opposite of what you say.
We have the receipts, y'all.
But when they get called out for it, they do not love it. I'll tell you that much.
We've heard a lot this week about Democrats supporting defund the police. The Republican Study Committee budget cuts the main federal grant program that local departments use to hire officers. How is that not proposing to defund the police?
I haven't looked into the details of the RSC budget. There's lots of nuances. They also plus up other areas where you support law enforcement, because that's a central theme of what we believe. It's part of our worldview, it's part of our party platform, and it will always be consistent. You know, a lot of the Democrats in the House now are trying to revise history.
See, your budget is defunding the police, doing the actual thing that you're criticizing Democrats for wanting to do. Oh, let me change the topic as soon as possible because oh boy, don't like questions from you. You ask tough ones. And here's Marjorie Taylor Greene being called out to her face.
We have Jamie Raskin in there accusing us of worshiping Trump, worshiping as a convicted felon.
Well, he is a convicted felon.
Well, yeah, so was George Floyd. There were riots burning down the country over George Floyd. I worship God.
Marjorie Taylor Greene puts air quotes around the term convicted felon, and when called out on it to her face, she goes, oh, okay, well, but I don't worship the convicted felon that I pretend it wasn't really one with bunny ears, but I worship only one man. God. You see, Sweet Marjorie hasn't passed a single bill since she's entered Congress. Literally, over the course of years, 0 bills. Instead, she continues to spread conspiracy theories, spout Russian propaganda, and do nothing for her constituents. Her outbursts and arguments aren't just how she stays in headlines, it's literally how she generates cash for her campaign. People like Mike and Marjorie rely on their base doing absolutely 0 critical thinking, and luckily for them, it seems they don't have to worry at all. In a dream scenario, the Dems take the House and hold on to the Senate in November. We've seen just how ineffectual the current situation is. It's untenable. It gets nothing done. It's taking our country backwards. We pray that happens, but will it happen? Unlikely. See, because the Dems are going to have to actually, to do that, chase the election, chase the issues that they're going to fight for to change the country in the way that they want, and not just continue trying to scare people about what it would be like if Trump would win, even though it's absolutely terrifying. Of course, the man's nuts and can't speak a coherent sentence, but you also have to inspire people to vote for you, not just against somebody else. It didn't work in 2016. It's not going to work in 2024. The DNC has to learn, and quickly. Let's hope the curve of learning can be one that is fast. I'm speaking in weird sentence structure now. I've been watching much too much Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Stopping is what must need to happen. Gleib, Ben, I am. Follow me on the Instagram if you want to. And the name reverse order. Thank you. And please, God help us all.